Well, I'm now being joined by the Director, Social, Economic and Labour Affairs, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, well, did I get your name? Oh, that's Mr. Timothy Olawale. Yes. Yeah, you are the Director, Social, Economic and Labour Affairs. Well, you listened to Comrade, yes, what he said. He seemed to be in support of this idea to increase the contributory pension fund to 20% from 15%. Now, from the employer's perspective, what's your take on that?
Well, naturally, I'm not surprised he's in support because ordinarily, if you ask every worker what his wish list is, he will ask for the moon, including myself, because even employers as well are workers. However, you have to benchmark it against reality. The proposal by PENCOM is actually 12%, not 20%. And so, like I said, it's good. He wants an increase to 20% perhaps, even if he has the opportunity of having it at 50%, he will do so. But the reality is this. In Nigeria today, even the 7.5% that is the current rate, many employers are still struggling to meet up with that contribution.
Why?
The economy under which we operate is a very tasking one for employers. I speak for the private sector. It's easy for you to see the beautiful buildings out there. However, when you see the realities, it is a different ball game. So based on that, you discover that it will be foolhardy for this dramatic jack-up in the rates. Besides that, even apart from the private sector, you discover that the fact equally applies to even government itself. At this dispensation, when government is trying to reduce its recurrent expenditure so that it can plow money into infrastructural development, you want to increase the rates. Besides that, many states are shying away from joining the scheme, basically because of the same issue of affordability. Local governments are shying away from joining the scheme because of affordability. We only need to look critically at all these issues and know that it's very, very important for us to look at it objectively. Is it affordable? Is it a rate that we can sustain? What is the point in jacking it up just because we want to play to Gary? And eventually, we shark in the responsibility of meeting our obligations. So, there are several other factors. There is also the consequential result. Naturally, in business, when your costs has actually shot up beyond your income, the natural tendency is for you to look inward and try to cut costs. I will also want to look at the possibility of this type of increment leading to rationalization in future. We are not saying it is desirable, but that is the reality. A situation where you cannot sustain it, naturally you want to cut your costs. And I believe it is more advantageous to the workers to have more of them in employment with sustainable rates than for us to have less with increased contributory rates.
All right. Now, the bill, according to PENCOM, it's a product of the exercise of the stakeholders. I believe you're a stakeholder. Well, you heard Comrade Aremo say they were there at the public hearing. So,
of course.
How did you make your own presentation? What was your position there?
We made our presentation basically what we canvassed there was that employers are against an increase. The 7.5 that many are still grappling with, they should leave it at that 7.5. Let's even assume that there should be an increase. We are not saying there should be, but let's assume there should be an increase. It should not be dramatic as it is. It should also be through the process of consultation. Yes, it is true, employers are represented on the board of PENCOM, but it is not correct that it was agreed that this rate should be what should be the proposed rate for the new bill that is being processed at the National Assembly. We also had an interactive forum where all these issues were discussed. And unanimously, employers' position was that 7.5 should be retained. Yes, I realize that in some instances, because he made reference to instances where employers have offered enhanced contribution, enhanced rate to their workers. Yes, it is circumstantial, but we have to look at it within the framework of that circumstance so that people will understand that it is not just out of the ordinary. There is the gratuity scheme that has been running in most of these companies. And because of the problem of sustainability, which I mentioned earlier, many employers approached their workers to say, okay, we cannot sustain this huge gratuity. Now, post 2004, we had the contributory pension fund. Why don't we do away with the gratuity scheme and in place of it have an enhanced pension scheme? In other words, instead of contributing 7.5, it was a function of negotiation. And instead of contributing 7.5, if we forgo the gratuity scheme, we can have an enhanced contributory rate. Some it was 10%. In some instances, it was 9%, 9.5. It varies from organization to organization. It's a function of negotiation. It's also a function of affordability. So it was not just because, oh, the desirable is to give 50%, is to give 100%, is to give a dramatic rate. It was informed by the need to harmonize this scheme instead of having dual scheme, gratuity on one hand, contributing pension on the other hand.
Okay, so you're suggesting that they should do away with the gratuity. And when that happens, are the employers ready to increase the contributory fund?
Of course, many organizations where workers and employers have, through the process of collective bargaining, discussed and agreed to subsume gratuity scheme into the pension fund. Of course, there is already in existence enhanced pension scheme. So most of the organization, as a matter of fact, all the organization where gratuity existed before now, and they have done away with it, the pension scheme is enhanced. The rate being contributed by employers is more than 7.5. And like I said, it's not just a matter of, oh, this is the fixed rate. It is a function of affordability, because most of the economic and financial situation of the companies is well known to even the employees themselves. As a matter of fact, most of them keep the records.
Now, the argument has been that the current ratio of 7.5%
Yes.
each is not equitable, because the employer has a stronger financial muscle. Don't you think that makes sense?
Well, let me also look at it from another perspective. In the private sector, I speak for the private sector, collective bargaining, through the process of collective bargaining, every 2 years, wages and benefits are reviewed. And these wages and benefits impact on the pension scheme as well. In other words, even if I'm contributing paying on behalf of my workers 7.5 today, and the quantum of that 7.5 is say 120,000 naira per month. By the time there is increase in the wages in 2 years' time, it automatically triggers an increase in the contributory pension fund. Besides that, let me also say that the issue of pension funds, which we are talking about, is a very delicate one, in that you say job security is of essence to an ordinary Nigerian. A situation where you have more, already even in the society we have several social consequences of unemployment, and a situation where we have more people being turned into the labor market on account of difficulty in sustaining whatever rate is made to bear on the employers. It will be very, very undesirable on the society.
All right, Mr. Timothy, well, we'll just have to leave it there. I guess it's an ongoing talk.
Yes.
It's a developing story, and we'll still have to get to hear from the regulator and, of course, the members of the National Assembly. And hopefully we'll still have you back in the studio. Thank you very much for being part of this program.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah. Well, I've been talking with Mr. Timothy Olawale. He is the Director, Social, Economic and Labor Affairs, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. And with that, we say thank you for being part of the program today. Don't forget to join us again, same time tomorrow. Do have a beautiful day.